Now, take into account that Reddit is genuinely a mental asylum. It is for people that are mentally unwell because healthy people do not enjoy spending time next to batshit insane individuals. And also, normal people get banned from Reddit. Like, if you go on Reddit and you have like the same opinions that your grandmother used to have, you would get banned. And so the people that aren't filtered out are the people that are generally toxic and not good for society to be around. But let's listen to what they're doing. For those of you who don't remember, there was during the Jack Dorsey era the hashtag yes, all men are rapists. The idea was that feminists were watering down the definition of rape to even include things like jokes and microaggressions. And so they also said that any person that doesn't speak out or that notices a man making a joke with a sexual connotation and allows them to make it is also a rapist by proximity. And so that is like feminist logic, and you have to wonder, like, why would they do such a thing? And if you're trying to think about it, that maybe, like they feel that they're oppressed and they want the oppression to end, you would be stumped because you would realize that no, actually, most of these ladies, they come from first world countries. They come from families that are extremely wealthy, and they're bitching and crying more than women in Africa. And so it's not about oppression, it's about maintaining the same status and the same privilege they had at home, where they were daddy's little princess, and everything they did caused the entire family to bend to their will. And when they go out in the real world, they realize that no, actually, the real world isn't like that, and not everyone is going to ass kiss her. And so she needs to create an ideology where she can get the same respect that she used to have back home. And so what they've noticed is that society actually despises rapists. It's not what the feminists think, it's what reality is. And if a man is accused of rape and he is actually sent to a prison, even the other prisoners that are murderers, gangbangers, and the worst of the worst would treat the rapist as the lesser of amongst them. And in some cases, they attack and they abuse him as well. And so feminists have noticed this, right? Like, feminists have noticed that actually our society does indeed treat rape seriously. And so accusing people falsely of rape makes them as a moral superior class. And again, by watering down and concept creeping the definition of what rape is to include jokes, to include being silent when you're at a party and someone makes a sexual remark to a woman, from saying that you like a lady's tits, like all of these things are now under rape culture, then yes, I guess like when you change the definition like that, then probably all men are, right? And so if all men are, then women by default are not. And if they are not, they are morally superior, which goes against the idea of a movement that's advocating for equality, right? But listen to what she is saying. So she is saying, I found the perfect answer to not all men. So in other words, like, this is a person that was genuinely agitated at night, not being able to figure out how to debunk the idea that some men may not be rapists. So the other day I was reading an article written by a Chinese woman. Okay, diversity, prestigious. Out of 10 men, 1 makes sexual joke directed at a woman. 2 laugh alone, 3 don't find it funny but still chuckle to fit in, and 4 say nothing, pretending they didn't hear it at all. Not a single one speaks up, and not a single one stops it. Later, aside from the man who made the joke, the other 9 all believe the same thing. Men like that are a minority, and most men aren't like this, seeing themselves as part of the good majority. However, from the perspective of the woman being harassed, there is no big difference between them because the laughter, the silence, and the looking away all creates the same environment. When women say most men are the same, this is what they mean. While not every man harasses women, most participate in protection. What do you guys think? Well, I think that this is a load of horseshit from a person that doesn't work for a living. Like, only someone that genuinely does not have a job and is so privileged to live off of, welfare or some shit, does not know how reality is at the workplace in 2026. In 2026, if someone would harass a female coworker, there is a thing called HR. And they can actually get fired for it. So, like, again, I don't know in what parallel la la land this lady happens to live in, but feminists have won this battle. Like, there used to be a huge number of people that would meet their significant other at the workplace. Now the workplace is a hostile environment where everyone is acting like they live under the Soviet Union because the camera is literally set on them. So I don't know like what joke she has heard at the workplace, but she does have the HR, assuming she works for a living, because I think she doesn't. But the second thing, right? A sexual joke directed at a woman. Like, why is the implication here that the woman doesn't like the sexual joke? Like, again, only a person that doesn't interact with other women would say something like this. Now, I'm not saying that she's not a woman. Maybe she is. But, like, she doesn't have a lot of friends there. Like, she generally doesn't get out. She doesn't know other women. And she assumes that because she doesn't like a sexual joke, that other women don't either. Like, no. I know many women that like the joke, depending on the guy who said it, depending if the joke is funny or not. Not all sexual jokes are unwelcome. But secondly, let's assume that the joke is unwelcome. Not every single inconvenience is harassment. Like, we as a society have never voted on this. Like, we never have discussed that, you know, a joke is now something that is worthy of such alarm that 10 guys have to intervene to stop it. Like, there are other methods of social pressure. Like, for instance, if the guy constantly makes these types of jokes, the guys that say nothing could just isolate him and just, you know, turn their back, refuse to interact with him. The guy notices the change in atmosphere. Like, not everything has to be physical and direct. See, human beings are a lot more intelligent than that. But even so, right, a joke is not something that we have decided that it should be banned. But again, when you live in a good society where rapes generally don't happen and your entire ideology is built around preventing rapes, then your ideology has a legitimacy crisis. And so you need to invent all of these microaggressions and you need to create all of these, you know, inconveniences that are now just as bad as rape. So, like, if you, I guess if this lady was to meet an actual sexual abuse survivor, she could say, well, I completely understand what you've been through because, like, when I was at the workplace, you know, someone made an obscene joke at my expense. Like, I know you got fucked by 4 guys and they ran train on you and that's horrible what happened, but I understand because I too had jokes that were, right? Like, it sounds ridiculous. But this is the type of mental illness that they have managed to bring into the discourse. Also, notice how we have to assume that women do not make similar jokes about men. That women do not make men uncomfortable. They do. But you remove that from the conversation so that, you know, like, women are never judged. They are never placed on a standard. There is absolutely no accountability for them. The people on trial here are the men. Always. And so what this creates is the situation that we saw in New York and in many other places where women actually do get assaulted on a train. And yes, like, no man wants to do anything. Because they've realized that the ideology works against them. First of all, if you do try to save a woman in a low-trust society, which the West is becoming, you don't get any thanks. But, like, that's okay. You know, like, maybe you don't save someone to get thanks. You know, you do it because it's the right thing to do. But then you get arrested because, like, there was a situation that I actually saw. It was in New York where a woman was getting purse snatched. And a guy saw it and he pulled out a gun. And he demanded that the guy stops trying to rob the woman. The guy, instead of stopping, charged the good guy with a gun. And so the good guy with the gun shot. And now the woman was horrified and she was accusing the guy for having a gun and, you know. And so you need to wonder, it's like, okay, well, why would I risk myself if women are gaslighting themselves to be like this? So, like, you can actually end up getting arrested, you can end up getting shot or getting in trouble for a woman that genuinely thinks of you as a lesser, as a peasant. Now, of course, not all women are like this, but we don't notice the good women speaking against these women. Like, you know, the same argument that she is making where, you know, like, fair enough, out of 10 men, 1 makes a joke and everyone else is silent, so they're complicit. Well, what are the women that are speaking out against this one? I can use the exact same logic, and I do. The other women are complicit for allowing this divisive ideology, this toxic mentality that is driven by 45-year-old hags who used to be very popular when they were young and they were fucking a lot of men, but now that they're 45, they're livid that the same men are now fucking young women. And so they're bitter, they're remorseful, a lot of them are fatherless. A lot of them happen to have been spoiled growing up, you know, dad is a little princess. And now they want to reorganize society so that men worship them. The problem that I've noticed is that when men actually do worship them, they don't feel sexual attraction. Like most women are not interested in having a puppy. They're interested in having a partner. They don't like submissive men. It's true, right? Like if you're a man that likes to be dominated by women, it's very difficult to find a woman that's willing to do it. Because on average, most women aren't interested in that. And so they're creating an ideology that brings them to having unhappiness, and other women aren't stopping them. Because a man can't stop them. You know, like when you get a zealot like this, if you talk to them, they dismiss you just because you're a man. And then you end up with all of the articles in the press written by feminists on how unhappy they are now that they're old, and how much they regret the things they did. Anyway, let me know what you guys think. And as usual, we'll see each other in the comment section. Take care.